G'day guys and welcome, my name's Michael and I am the Dead Aussie Gamer, here to share with you my tips, tricks, ideas and strategies for playing and running tabletop role-playing games. Today's episode, running DMPCs well. So, what is a DMPC? Now, a DMPC is a character that the Dungeon Master or Game Master creates in order to run with the group. Unlike an NPC, a DMPC is someone who hangs around for a little bit longer and is almost a part of the player's entourage as well as any of the other players might be. This is a very difficult thing to run as a game master because, well, let's face it, as the game master, you have control of almost every aspect of the game. Your dice rolls don't necessarily even need to be rolled in front of everyone, so when your DMPC succeeds a little too much, well, there's a little bit of discrepancy, a little bit of doubt, and they become a very negative and potentially toxic element to a game. There are lots of ways that you can run DMPCs, but generally speaking, a lot of people subscribe to the notion that one should simply not run DMPCs in their table. But I think that there are ways to make them work well, and that's what we're going to be discussing today. Not so much that, yes, you all should go out there and play DMPCs, but that if you are required to, or if you need to, there are some things you can do in order to try and make it work better for you. Alright, so starting with the common mistakes. The common mistakes people who run DMPCs tend to make are heroic NPCs. Now, the hero NPC is the worst thing you could do. Do not write a campaign where the main character or the main hero, the main protagonist of your adventure is a DMPC. That is probably the most common mistake that is made with DMPCs. A long time ago now, I played a game where I was asked to play a character in a town, just a random villager. I had myself as a disgraced doctor, and I was living on the outskirts of town, akin to a witch. You know, people would come to me for herbal remedies and blah, blah, blah. We had another guy who ran the local tavern. We had a guy who was a baker. We had a guy who, was a local farmer who had sheep. You know, it was a whole thing. And that was what we were asked to do by our game master. The problem then arose when the town became attacked by people, and we all eventually did the hero thing and rallied together to try and defend our hometown. We didn't. Everything was incredibly hard and difficult, and the people we were only able to kill were the tiniest minions. All of a sudden, emerging from somewhere, was the DMPC, the main hero, the main character, who showed up and slew all the things we were struggling with without batting an eyelid, before coming to the big boss battle and single-handedly taking it over. Now, that in itself is already, you can tell that doesn't sound fun. That is because you're listening to this story from the audience perspective. The players in the audience alike will just not like this, but for the GM, for the game master, it was all awesome in their head. It was just, this was an awesome cinematic moment. No, it wasn't supposed to be a battle, it was supposed to be just a bit of cinema, a bit of story to kind of get you into the world. Let's assume this is true. Let's go with what the GM thought at the time. What then happened was we had a town meeting. These people have attacked. What the hell's going on? If it wasn't for the hero, we would not have survived. Meanwhile, the rest of us are going, yep. Good thing that hero was there. We then had a scenario where we were told, cool, these people who are the most notable people in town will go with the hero to the main capital city and find out from the lords what to do about this new and posing threat. Okay, cool. So we gathered up all the stuff we needed, prepared for the journey. We decided to go by river, again organized by the hero. We then turned and had a look at his map, which took us straight through the territory of one of the major enemies in the area. And we went, actually, maybe we shouldn't take the river here, because it literally takes us straight into the middle of the most hostile territory in the world. If we actually go through here, we actually go through all our allies' town. Sure, it'll take a day or two longer, but we won't be running headlong into enemy lands. The hero then turned around and said, well, what do you know, you're a baker? Or what do you know, you're a blah, blah, blah. And, of course, undermining the characters, we just went, yep, okay, whatever. And sure enough, on that journey, we were attacked, blah, blah, blah. Again, similar scenario, we held off the minions while the hero did his thing. We eventually came to the main town, and we were all excited. We're like, cool, we're in the main capital city. This is fantastic. This is awesome. This is incredible. All of a sudden, it's all right, you guys stay with the boat. The hero is going to go to the meeting. Oh, okay. I guess the hero can go to the meeting. We stayed there. Nothing really happened. Suddenly the hero returns with all the information and he is attacked by assassins. And we're like, this is the major plot. The assassins are going to kill the hero and we're going to have to rise up and... No, the hero is just going to kill the assassins. Okay, we're just going back the same way we came. Okay, cool. And at that point we boycotted the game because it wasn't fun. Heroic characters or heroic DMPCs can't be the central focus of the adventure. Yes, as GMs, we love writing, we love storytelling, it's why we're here. But we can't be doing that at the expense of the entertainment of everyone else. If you want to write this story, write it as a novel, write it as a book, a short story, share it with your friends, sure. But it's not a role-playing game. And that's one of the most common and most disliked factors when we look at DMPCs. Alright, so storytime aside, second type of mistake that one makes with DMPCs is self-inserts. Now, I can't really talk about this. This is one of the, this character here is one of the characters that I insert into one of my horror games. And I love him because he is me in the role-playing game world that I'm in. He is called the Undertaker. He's a very interesting sort of character. His power is akin to a god. But he's not like, I am all powerful. He just knows everything. And he's one of those characters who, no matter which graveyard you go to, the Undertaker is there with all the information you need. So he's kind of, like I said, a self-inserted part of me in the game. The disadvantage of doing that is if anyone does anything to this NPC, or to this DMPC, all of a sudden you as a GM feel defensive. Because it's a part of you. It's a personal investment in the story, in this character. So when someone does something to it, well, you don't want it to happen. And whether or not you intend to, you reflexively try to protect and try to save your NPC. Doing this negates or takes away the agency of your players. And you don't want to do that, you know? So if you have self-inserts, I say this, make sure your players love them. Make sure they're characters that your players are really going to get along with. And if they do perish, if they do die, just embrace it. Take that fact as the players didn't like it, the character is getting killed, is getting wiped out. It's not a personal attack against you. And always remember that there are resurrection scrolls. There's always ways to come back. So don't get so attached that you as a person end up at odds with your fellow players. The last mistake that people do is cameos. Now, I know that I say this as a mistake, but it's also kind of useful, but kind of bad. Let me explain. When we add in a DMPC, and it's a familiar one that some of the group may realize, it's very common for a GM to sort of turn around and go, cool, I'm going to throw this DMPC out. 3 of these people have played my games before. They know who this character is. Strong move in terms of building the world. Bad move in the sense of the assumed surprise. Have you ever been in this scenario? Alright guys, you find yourself walking down in the main streets of town when all of a sudden you see a man wearing a monocle. He has green hair and a top hat. And then, you know, this coy look your GM gets. And then all of a sudden some of the players are like, oh, it's this guy. Yeah, no, it's this guy. And you're sitting there like, what guy? It's like, he walks up to you very suddenly and he says, hello, greetings and salutations. How may I be of service? I am known by many names. And you sit there and you're like, just tell me who the hell you are. Oh my god. Like, the cameo DMPC, the one that shows up all the time, the one that recurs, the one that everyone but you tends to know, yeah, this can get frustrating. You want to make sure that every time you introduce a DMPC in your cameo state, you want to treat it like the first time everyone's seeing it. Because I suppose the surprise or the big benefit of it comes from the player and meta familiarity, not the character one. So while these characters may not remember this particular NPC, the players might, and that's what you shouldn't be focusing on if you've got new players at that table. Alright, we've talked about the mistakes, let's now focus on the strengths. What are some of the strengths of DMPCs? Now, DMPCs can be used really well as guides, things that players need to protect. I've had multiple occasions where a Protect the VIP story has involved, this is the young heir to the throne. He does not want to go with you because he doesn't want to be the heir of the throne. He wants to live his simple life, but it is your duty to take him and make him king. this DMPC, as it were, is designed to be weaker than the group. He's designed to have flaws and problems and issues that the PCs will then help work them through. The main point of that is that the group is the one making the major actions. The group is the one uplifting that PC. So it gives them not only a purpose, it gives them the power, and it gives them the goals within that space, right? So guides are really good because they're not designed to overshadow or step on anyone's toes. The second big thing that you want to be looking at for DMPCs is you want to make sure that if the group needs to be filled out, like let's say, for example, we've got a fighter, a wizard, a rogue, and another fighter. Okay, no one is capable of healing. Sure, let's have someone who's capable of healing. Make them capable, but don't make them the sole healer. Don't make them replace someone, because what it does is it makes the player character feel like there's no point in achieving a certain thing or reaching out for a certain role if there is already a dedicated person there. Let me explain. So I have games that normally run between 4 and 6 players. And I tell people the same thing I tell everyone what I run. I don't care what you play. If you want to play a character, the only thing I care about is your story, how you connect to my tale, the party, and what your self-motivation is. Apart from that, if you want to play a whole group of rogues, play a whole group of rogues. If you want to play a whole group of healers and you're all pacifists, fine, do it. But I want to see how you do it. I want to see you interact with the world. I want to see you engage with everyone else. And to that end, I don't like putting a DMPC in a place because anyone can take that role. Oh, we all played fighters. Fantastic. How are you guys healing? Well, I guess we'll take potions and wands. Sure, fantastic. Take potions and wands. Can we get a healer to travel with us? You can certainly hire a healer to travel with you, but they will not replace a player who I might go, hey, you know what? Do you want to come join a game? Look, I've got a group of fighters, and if that person says I want to play a healer, I don't want to be the guy to turn around and say, actually, they've got an NPC that's a healer, and so maybe you should look at something else. Don't do that. Don't be that person. Have a DMPC fill a role, but fill it at about maybe a third of the level of a regular PC. Make them good at healing, but they won't replace another player. That's what I mean. All right. Now, obviously, there's a reason why people like DMPCs, and we've gone through some of them already in the negative zone. Let's look at some of the strengths of DMPCs. So, the first thing that I suppose is the biggest strength for them is persistent world knowledge. Now, when you bring in a DMPC, that DMPC is already part of the world you create. Very rarely will you find your DM will just drop a DMPC and go, yeah, there it is. He's just a fighter. Generic fighter because none of you have any fighting, right? Instead, their backstory usually is tied inherently to the world around them. Whether or not it's, cool, I'm a member of this particular guard that will become relevant in Act 2 of my story. Or maybe my character is a wizard who will actually be able to allow the players to get inside access to some of the wizarding towers, spells, and abilities later on. Whatever it is, DMPCs help build the persistent world because your story is, well, part of the major plot. Make them part of the major plot if they're not. The second thing is expanding the story. One of the toughest things that any GM is going to have is trying to find a way for their player characters to become invested in your major story. DMPCs are a great way to build that expanding investment, to make it so that, oh, this DMPC has a stake over here. Maybe we should go and investigate. Or even, if you're as evil and sadistic as me, having something bad happen to the DMPC that the group loves can also motivate them in very good ways. So it's a great means of expanding their influence, expanding the group's knowledge, and making it so that they want to take a piece of every part of your story. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Go check out all of the different links in the description below. And if you yourself have an example of either good or bad stories involving DMPCs, let us know in the chat below. I'm definitely keen to hear some other tales of DMPCs that have actually really helped the group out. So, till next time, guys, as always, from me to you, game hard or die trying. See yas!